Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad to see you here. I hope that we can talk about today a little bit about what I talked about in my last post, taking it a little bit further and understanding that I always talk about damaged hair in this channel. But I want to talk about today, I want to talk about um, hair problems. For instance, you're starting your new hair habits. You're getting used to the routine. But now that you've gone through a year of doing your healthy hair habits and your second year is approaching, your scalp takes time to heal. So within the first couple of years, you see a lot of progress. But then you also see things unfold that are more underlying. In other words, when we have damage, it's usually damage in layers. So we would have dehydration, and then of course the side effects of keeping dehydration too long will be other issues like losing too much protein, not having manageability, scalp issues. All these things can occur and you think to yourself, wait a minute, I wasn't having that problem. And that's because you were so dry and or should we say unconditioned or had a different understanding of conditioning that, mostly when people come to me, they usually are very damaged. And so as we peel back those layers, you have to trust the process that what you're doing is what the hair needs. So if you are sick and you're taking your medication, you realize I need the antibiotic. It's going to, take care of the job and I'm going to get better. And this is how you have to feel. You have to have confidence in yourself and that what you're doing is right for your hair. Now, of course, nobody follows me blindly. If I didn't uh, deliver what I said, then of course they're not going to trust. So it's easy to trust someone who is giving you things that you can slowly see. But after a while, I noticed in conditioning, clients sort of feel like, well, I've been a year, why don't I have the perfect hair? It's because your hair problems take longer. And if they are reaching the scalp, if your hair problems is caused hair damage, then there's going to be an issue there. There's going to be, you need time. You need time to heal. And so that scalp heals a lot slower than the did appendage. The did appendage comes out, your hair is a did appendage. It comes out of your scalp, and then of course it sort of lives on its own, like your nails. And then of course you can cut them, or you can, or they break off, or they're too brittle, and then you have to find the underlying problem of your nail issue. But what I'm saying is that, there could be many things wrong with your scalp. And if it's hard to believe that this is true, then it's harder to get through the conditioning. But once you can see that you are protecting your hair from the environment, so you no longer have the environmental damage, you're protecting your hair from your body issues, such as stress, maybe a hurt limb, or carry a lot of stress because you're in school, or you're always dealing with the fluorescent lights, which makes it hard for your eyes, and eyes can stress out your hairline. So what I'm saying is that when you're working with damaged hair, it's not always what you want. Your hair could be doing great at Father's Day, and of course by Thanksgiving, you don't know it's the same head of hair. Something has happened and you don't know what caused the breakage, and you kind of feel like you're back at day one. You're not. You're not. For instance, clients that come to me, they haven't had proper care for years, as where you are having some years of proper care with your hair because you're studying good hair habits. And so that's why on this channel, I want to start splitting my screen and start showing you about other professionals that talk about brushing, deep conditioning. They talk about massaging. They talk about even vitamins for your hair. Now, everybody goes, oh, I want a hair vitamin, but that's not really what you need. The hair vitamins, you might be low on vitamin B, but if you're not, I don't want you to take it. It might overdose. I don't think that taking vitamins in excessive amount is the answer to hair issues. Not that it won't help, okay, but you need to be guided by a doctor with your vitamins. For instance, you could be taking 200 milligrams and you need 1,000 milligrams. So when it comes to vitamins, a blood panel is usually, what you need, and talk with your doctor about your symptoms as far as your body, and then do that. If you're fairly, if you're healthy or fairly healthy, and you just want to add on vitamins, then think about vitamins that boost your immune system. Think about vitamins like spirulina. That's just a great, it just does great things for your body. Um, you know, I don't too much recommend or suggest. I never act as if I'm a vitamin specialist. However, I've had to investigate and educate myself on vitamins so that I would recognize a vitamin deficiency in hair. It's still hard to do that because when it comes to damaged hair, it's in layers. So you don't really find out the vitamin deficiency until you get rid of the protein loss and the moisture loss and start rebuilding the hair. Then you're saying, okay, I've eliminated moisture issue. I know my hair doesn't have a moisture problem. I'm using a good moisturizer, um, and I'm using it often. So you think to yourself, okay, that's not the problem. I'm not low on protein. The sun isn't damaging my hair. Then you have to look in other areas that might affect your hair. So when I talk to you about, um, trusting the process, what I mean is you are now using the power of elimination. And that is always a lot more logical than just stabbing in the dark, or I call it conditioning in the dark, where you're just going from one product to another, hoping that that product will be the right product. And then, of course, people are so stubborn about their hair. They don't want to admit that they're that damaged, and they really don't want to admit that stress is involved. But remember, stress is not a bad thing. It's stress every day. Even if you went out and played basketball and won the game, you're very happy. You're not stressed, but your body is. It just played a game of basketball. So you have to understand body stress and mental stress and how it plays a part in your lifestyle in order for you to narrow in on the stress issues. So a lot of my clients, I've noticed, I work with clients that no longer are utilizing over-the-counter products. They try and um, when I say they try, they pick out a good moisturizer, they pick out a good company. They also research and find out that this company is what they approve of. And then, of course, now we have to say, okay, how much moisture do they give you? Do they give you a very strong moisturizer, or do they give you a moisturizer that isn't as strong? And then that tells you how you would proceed with conditioning your hair. If it's not enough moisture in the product, then you'd have to really condition in order to build up that moisture. So that's why you want to look for products that are strong in moisture, have water molecule humectants, things that help the hair maintain moisture. Once you learn the process, then you have to think, okay, what's going on with my hair? Well, first you find out one thing, then you find out another thing. Then you're doing great, and all of a sudden you've broken and you're back where you started from. Then you notice 2 years down the line, your hair is, even with the trim, your hair is still the same length. The hair is supposed to grow out, whether you trim it or not. It still grows. So if you are growing or breaking faster than you're growing, then that's when you start seeing that stagnant length. So now it takes time. Now you've got to grow this hair out, and the first hair that you grow is hair that has been stabilized. So you don't really get that healthy head of hair and when I say healthy head of hair, that healthy scalp, so it can deliver the best hair it can make. So if you're looking at um, rebuilding the scalp, if your damage has gone into the scalp, then of course it's going to take you a little bit more time. So now you have to have patience with your hair and your hair damage. And then you still have to, go to weddings that you want to look good in, and you still want to go home and not have to deal with, people asking you, what are you doing with your hair? Family are like, do you need help with your hair? And so even they can see the stress in your hair, and you think to yourself, oh my God. And the whole time your hair feels great. You know, the hair is not breaking, but it broke. And so now that it broken, and out of stress, it'll break. And then of course, now you've got to say, okay, what did I do? What can I do to lower the stress? So that takes a little bit more patience, a little bit more scheduling, or a little bit more diligent in keeping timely conditioning and timely massaging, because now your scalp is stressed. Let's say it's stressed because you work in a warehouse and your shoulders are stressed. So now that stress is led up to your neck and led into your scalp. And so now it carries over in your eyes, your ears. So now you have to lower your stress. And that's easier said than done, because you might have been used to just brushing and just a little massaging, you're fine. But now you're older. Now things have changed. Maybe lifestyle has changed. Stress is, more than just simple. For instance, dryness is kind of simple stress, because we can give you a heat cap and we can deep condition you and get you away from the moisture problem. But stress is a little bit more tedious. When you have stress, what happens is that you have the stress, and then you have, trying to not drop my water bottle. When you have your stress issues, it could be as simple as you traveling. And as long as that's stressful for you at the time, maybe you got sick during the traveling. So stressing is an issue. And it's one that you're going to have to really be patient with and really take out time in your schedule so that you can be more, should we say, better at relieving the stress. The better you get at relieving your stress, the better you will be at calming your scalp down and relaxing and saying to yourself, everybody's going to go to sleep. My eyes are going to go to sleep. My back is going to go to sleep. And sometimes that takes a little bit more work than just falling asleep. It might even take understanding from your doctor. Remember, sleep is good for your hair. So you should sleep. If you have any sleep issues, you do need to work those out. If you have any medical issues or have had surgery, that can go into a stress issue. So it's easy to get into stress, especially now that our lifestyles go so fast. So what I would like to see you do is to understand that when we're doing the conditioning and we're peeling back your layers, we are also getting you to understand what your routine and how good it needs to be. If you have very less stress or little stress in your hair, and I've seen people not get, hereditary wise, they just don't carry stress in their hair. They carry it in their stomach or they carry it in their knees. But here again, this has to be found out. And of course, anywhere you have a hurt limb or you have medication, the body could be under stress. So we need to consider that muscles remember, and your head is covered in muscles. So stress is a very serious condition, and it can keep you from feeling that you're getting it right. And that's where I wanted to make sure I mentioned to you that getting it right means understanding your stress, understanding how much it builds, and then also understanding how to lower it. So we'll be discussing that on this channel or post. When I post, I'll be talking more about stress hair and how it applies to you and what you can do to help your hair not be so stressed. So make sure that you stay dehydrated. That can stress your body out. It can definitely stress your hair out. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for staying. I really appreciate you working on your hair. It's very rewarding. You feel proud once you have conquered your hair issues and know that it was you that did it. It's you that stuck with it. Like I said before, it's you that's going to save your hair. And I hope to help you. But stress is something that needs to be understood and not get into a depressed mode. A lot of times when we have that problem, we get stressed and we get into a stress mode, which stresses our hair. So it's a repetitious cycle. So try to stay hair happy and try to stay on top of your routine so that stress doesn't interrupt your hair growth. I want to thank you so much for staying, and then I definitely thank you for coming to my post or my channel. And I post once a week, every Friday, and I hope to see you here so that we can learn more about damaged hair. So now, go have a good hair day, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.